Welcome into the world of 820. Thank you for joining me. This is the next episode in the 820 series. We're taking a break from the Meaning of Love mini-series in the 820 Enterprise. But at any rate, the topic for today is faith, blind or visionary. Let me start with this intro. Under a subtopic for today, leaving everything and leaving everything for nothing. And it leads to another discussion I had with a dear friend of mine for the past 40 some odd years, Mitabarba, Bill, my brother from Ohio. We're having a discussion about decluttering. We have a shared addiction for shoes and suits and clothes. And we're talking about decluttering 50% of our respective already full closets. And I was thinking, 50%? I could see maybe 10% that I give away to, say, Salvation Army and Goodwill, but 50%? Whoa, that's a big, tall order for me. But I'm just waxing philosophically here, and that's tied into this discussion today about faith and decluttering to get to that faith and seeing if it's visionary or blind. So just a thought or two about what is really essential to living this life here, today and now. But here's the question. Could you leave everything, all of your stuff, behind and for a significant period go forward with nothing and without worry or concern? Now, for me, maybe 3 decades ago or so, maybe more than that, I was sitting in a sermon in a church somewhere in Columbus, Georgia. And I was half paying attention to the pastor, but he said this thing in that sermon that piqued my attention. He was saying, worry is a sin. And he cited a biblical verse, and it woke me up. And I sat up and paid attention to this one. Because at that time, I was still in my 8th or 9th year as a professional soldier in the Army, Ranger, paratrooper, all that good stuff. So worry was never a sin or a problem for me. What we did was, dangerous stuff, what we did back in the Army. So worry wasn't on the agenda. But him saying that confirmed, okay, cool. I can give up that one. I've done a lot of sin in my life, but that one, I can give that one up. So the worry part, no problem. The other word, concern. Now, for this discussion today, concern to me is a simple definition. Concern means interest and safety. So as that preamble to this discussion today, I'll ask you, what worry and concern do you have for your journey? And I also got to ask, why? If you recall in previous podcasts with my African elder, Mr. Tamba, remember these words. If you go back to my other podcasts, I cited the 6 words he gave me that really refined my process for my purpose. He said, go, ask no question, and die. Very simple, sounds kind of morbid, but if you think about that and listen to that podcast, you'll get the idea why that makes sense and not as a declaration of the end. So all that to say, I'm asking you guys to feel and know safety in your own skin, in your own presence, and apply your currency and your frequency, how you feel about that every day. And for me, what I have bestowed upon me is something unique and different and something you don't have as I deliver these 820 messages. Now, I know that sounds a bit arrogant, yeah? And that's probably true, and it will seem that way to you until you come to realize and state the same thing to and of yourself, that you have something bestowed only to you and that I can never know what that is. But here's the trick. Whoever, whatever created us, separately, uniquely, provided you and I with one or a few distinct powers and forces. I think we can agree with that. But here comes the bill we each have to pay. We each have to pay attention to that advantage or perspective with the duty, responsibility, and accountability to share that unique message. That comprises and hopefully simplifies your quest and your questions about your purpose. Not as hard as you thought it would be, yes? But there's no need to go out there and find that golden lost nugget of fame and fortune to stand out and away from them and from us. That part of the equation is already resolved, decided on, and scheduled for you. It's called, wait for it, fate. It would seem logical and necessary for us to, at one juncture, to accept this thing called fate. But then we'd want and absolutely think we could change it, but we cannot. Your fate, very similar to mine in this way, is that it is fixed. We cannot know how it will play out, but that first step of acceptance is just that, accepting it with a twist. Accepting your fate without resistance, judgment, comparison, or attachment to an outcome, result, success, or disappointment. I know that's a lot to ask, and while that is for everyone, not everyone will accept that mission. But if you choose to accept your fate, and from your current curious interest and visionary active faith, the second step is to realize your purpose, to share, announce, present that impression as your expression. From this place, you begin to inspect and insist that what you observe from within gets expressed without expectation from those who may witness you or observe you. As I said earlier, I cannot know, see, or hear your special and unique quality that resides only in you. But as you determine the consistency, the quality, the best you have in delivering that purpose and vision is not for me or for anyone to assess, judge, resist, compare, or attach to your message. But I sincerely believe, like air and water and sunshine, your original and genuine intention will appear and arrive without question required. Its value and viability will sustain itself without much debate or challenge. Do you question the existence of your enjoyment of the sun, the moon, the stars, air, water? Even on those stormy and gloomy days where it seems to lack the visible and comforting warmth and glimmer of other past days and nights, would you question their existence and presence? The faith I share with you is not about sight or lack thereof. This is about visionary faith that comes from any or all senses that you have. But even for those senses is that spark of inspiration, that consistent, repeating pulse of life and insight that pushes you forward even when you don't want to. Believe it or not, this is what I call visionary faith. But I can also call this visionary fate. Will you accept? When you get a chance, hop over to the 820podcast.com website for a more involved and intimate discussion with me. Get background on the previous podcasts, me personally, the book. Look forward to meeting you there again. Until then, no matter where you are, what time it is, it's always 8:20.